Hello and welcome to the news from Bahrain International. I'm Sarah Lebreik. His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa met President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi of Egypt in the town of Al Alamein, during which they affirmed the strength of the distinguished relations between the two brotherly countries. During the meeting, they also discussed ways to continue enhancing the frameworks and mechanisms of cooperation, including in the economic and development fields, in a manner that achieves the aspirations of the two brotherly people towards progress, stability, and prosperity. His Majesty the King and the Egyptian President also discussed regional and international developments and their shared views regarding the importance of intensifying joint Arab action to confront the growing challenges in the region and the world, affirming their keenness to continue close coordination at all levels in light of the strong historical ties linking the two countries at the official levels. His Majesty the King had departed Al Alamein town today, where President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi was at the forefront of bidding him farewell. His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa has returned to Bahrain following a visit to Egypt. During his visit, His Majesty the King held talks with the President of Egypt, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, where they discussed the well-established relations and means of further enhancing cooperation between the two countries and reviewed regional and international developments. The Egyptian President bade farewell to His Majesty the King in Al Alamein town. The President of Egypt, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, received the UAE President, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, at Al Alamein town. The two presidents discussed brotherly relations and various aspects of cooperation and joint work between the two countries, in addition to developing cooperation in all fields to achieve their aspirations to continue progress and sustained development and prosperity. His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed and al-Sisi reviewed the tracks of cooperation which continue its qualitative development, especially in vital fields, and the promising opportunities to expand its space to achieve the mutual interests of the two countries and their brotherly people. They also discussed regional and international developments of mutual interest and stressed on the importance of joint Arab action to ensure security, stability, peace and development in the region. Under the patronage of the Minister of Labour Jamil Ahmedan and in the presence of GCC Secretary General Jassim Al-Bdawi, the new headquarters of the Executive Office of the GCC Council of Ministers of Labour, Council of Ministers of Social Affairs, the role played by the Executive Office at the General Secretariat of the Council in providing studies and research that serve Gulf citizens in the fields of labour, manpower and social affairs was reviewed. The GCC Secretary General extended thanks and appreciation to Bahrain, represented by the Minister of Labour and the Ministry of Social Development, for their efforts that led to the transfer of the Executive Office to the new headquarters. The legislative and executive authorities continue their joint meeting to discuss restructuring government support and directing it to those eligible. The meeting discussed the legislative authorities' remarks on the general basic principles for restructuring government support and emphasized the importance of raising the efficiency of direct government support to achieve sustainability, increase productivity and benefit Bahraini families. These meetings come within the framework of continuing cooperation between the executive and legislative authorities and reaching common consensus regarding restructuring government support in accordance with laws and regulations in a way that guarantees the interests of the country and citizens. In implementation of the directives of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, the Minister of Justice, Islamic Affairs and Waqf Nawaf Al-Maouda announced that the High Committee for Hajj and Umrah Affairs will begin the necessary arrangement for next year's 1445 Hajj season in September. The Minister affirmed the importance of early preparations in developing the level of quality of services provided by Bahrain's Hajj mission to Bahraini pilgrims and residents, which reflects the keenness of His Royal Highness to better serve pilgrims and implementation of the visions and directives of His Majesty the King to provide the best conditions for Bahrainis to perform Hajj rituals easily and comfortably. He added that the new timeline reflects Saudi Arabia's historic role in delivering the best services to pilgrims, and Maouda affirmed that the periodic evaluation of Bahrain's Hajj mission is a basis for building on the successes achieved in light of the efforts of the missions committees in a way that provides the best means of facilitation and comfort to the pilgrims of Bahrain. In implementation of the order of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister to allocate an additional budget to fund alternative solutions and options for old housing applications from 2004 and prior, the Minister of Housing and Urban Planning contacted beneficiaries. The Minister of Housing and Urban Planning, Amna Al-Mehi, has affirmed that the Ministry prepared a plan to receive citizens according to a timetable that accommodates all citizens whose applications date between 2002 and 2004. She noted that the communication process will be through direct contact with applicants to set dates for visiting the ministry and provide housing consultations according to the needs of each family. The minister added that the ministry began receiving the first batches of citizens with applications from 2002 to provide them with details on the alternative solutions. The minister affirmed that the ministry is keen on introducing the solutions to citizens to accelerate the provision of services. The Minister of Sustainable Development, Noor Al-Khlaif, has held a meeting with editors-in-chief of local newspapers following Bahrain's presentation of the second voluntary national review on progress made in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals at the 2023 UN High-Level Political Forum on Sustainable Development in New York. She affirmed that Bahrain was able to accelerate the progress made towards implementing Sustainable Development Goals, which is in line with the provision with the visions of His Majesty the King, with the continuous follow-up of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister. The Minister noted that since Bahrain presented the new voluntary national review in 2018, it witnessed remarkable acceleration addressing global environmental challenges, investing in renewable energy, supporting digital transformation and strengthening financial sustainability efforts. The review showed the kingdom's efficiency in dealing with the pandemic and limiting its repercussions by adopting a comprehensive integrated approach and launching the economic recovery plan in 2021. She indicated that the forum shed light on ways to accelerate achieving sustainable development, which Bahrain was able to achieve. Al-Khlaif discussed the approach to sustainability in Bahrain, noted that it takes pride in its approach based on sustainability throughout its history. She stressed the importance of continuing integration work between the state institutions and all partners to continue advancing sustainable development to achieve the aspirations of the kingdom, expressing the ministry's aspirations and readiness to participate in the Sustainable Development Goals Summit, which takes part next September. The Minister of Industry and Commerce, Abdullah Fakhru, paid an inspection visit to the Dira Land Beverages Company. Fakhru affirmed that the ministry welcomes all investments that contribute to raising economic growth rates. In light of the facilities provided by the kingdom based on its visions and targeted strategies, he affirmed that the facilitations provided by Bahrain enhance its investment location in line with the Bahrain Industrial Sector Strategy 2022-2026 within the Economic Recovery Plan, which aims to increase the contributions of the industrial sector to the kingdom's GDP, increase the exports of the industrial sector of national origin, and provide promising job opportunities for citizens in the sector. Fakhru also affirmed that efforts continue to enhance local investments, attract qualitative and competitive industries, and localize them to serve the local, regional, and global markets. The organizing committee of the E-Government Excellence Awards 2023 announced that registration is now open for the 12th edition of the award until August 31st. The committee invited public and private organizations, individuals, and civil society institutions to submit their entries electronically via the website. More in this report.
In line with the vision and aspirations of His Majesty the King and in implementation of the directives of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, the E-Government Excellence Award continues this year in its 12th edition. The award was launched in 2008 and is considered one of the important national initiatives in the field of information and communication technology and receives considerable attention from many government agencies due to its prominent role in strengthening the technical infrastructure of the Kingdom of Bahrain. The award has empowered digital national projects and initiatives as the Kingdom of Bahrain was able to win many important awards which enhance its position, reputation and strength of its information and communication technology sector locally and internationally.
A report issued by the Yale Center for Environmental Law and Policy on the Environmental Performance Index for the year 2022 revealed that Bahrain ranked first in the world in the field of low vegetation cover and the quality of ecosystem services. The report also confirmed that Bahrain ranked first in the Gulf and third in the Middle East in achieving mitigation of the effects of climate change with a rate of 8.8% between 2012-2022. Over the past years, Bahrain has become one of the leading countries in preserving green spaces in its various lands by launching many pioneering initiatives that contributed directly to increasing the green area and protecting the environment. More of these efforts, which contribute to a decrease in the decline of vegetation cover, achieve the goals of the comprehensive development process led by His Majesty the King and the vision of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister to take important steps to address the effects of climate change in a symbiotic manner at all levels. The Ministry of Health has achieved excellence by implementing a comprehensive national health system that serves all citizens and residents of the Kingdom of Bahrain, providing an application with a registration service for all health transactions. The Ministry of Industry and Commerce affirmed that the total number of licensed e-commerce practitioners in the online mall mall.bh has reached over 300 online stores. The president of the Arabian Gulf University, Dr. Khalid Al-Ouhali, has passed away. The Kingdom of Bahrain has lost one of its loyal citizens, as Dr. Khalid Al-Ouhali was one of the most distinguished academics. He served as president of the Arabian Gulf University since 2009 and a member of the board of trustees of the Yusuf bin Ahmed Kanu Award. He obtained a PhD in planning and development in 1992 from the University of Berkeley, a master's degree in urban design in 1984 from Harvard University, and a bachelor's degree in architecture from the Department of Architecture in 1980 from King Saud University. Bahrain citizens have been urged to adhere to the advisory issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, cautioning them against traveling to Lebanon for their safety. In a statement, the ministry urged citizens to leave Lebanon for their safety from any danger. Citizens are required to contact Bahrain Embassy in Damascus for assistance in case of emergencies. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia hosted talks on the Ukraine war, a session that Kiev had predicted would not be easy given the wide range of countries represented. Ukraine has proposed its widely expected 10-point peace formula at talks in Saudi Arabia. Senior officials from some 40 countries, including the US, China and India, met in Jeddah for discussions that Ukraine and its allies hope will lead to agreements on key principles for a peaceful end to Russia's war in Ukraine. A source from the Ukrainian delegation told Al Arabiya and Al Hadath that proposals were supported by several countries. As expected, no final declaration was due to be released. Through a European source said there had been agreements on key points. The UAE has sent a shipment of military vehicles and security equipment to Chad to support its counter-terrorism efforts and enhance border protection. UAE Ambassador to Chad Rashid Al-Shamsi has delivered the supplies to Chad's Minister of Defense. The Defense Minister thanked the UAE for its continuing support. He said that military cooperation plays a key role in enhancing security and efforts to overcome challenges. The initiative falls within the framework of the strong ties between the UAE and Chad at various levels, which have resulted in the signing of several bilateral agreements, including a military cooperation agreement in June. The UAE has provided humanitarian aid and food supplies to Sudanese refugees in Chad who fled their war-torn homeland. The United Nations announced the unloading of 60% of the amount of crude oil in the dilapidated sulfur oil tanker to an alternative tanker since the start of the unloading operation on July 25th in Hodeidah province. The United Nations Development Programme, the UNDP, said each day they are getting closer to completing the operation to save the safer oil reservoir. About 60% of the about 680,000 barrels of oil on board the sulfur was transferred to the replacement ship. The UN recently started the process of unloading oil from the dilapidated sulfur oil reservoir off the coast of Yemen on the Red Sea coast to a new ship named Al Yemen, in a process expected to take 19 days to avoid humanitarian and environmental disasters. In a message to mark the 78th anniversary of the atomic bombing of Hiroshima, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has urged the international community to learn from the nuclear cataclysm that befell the Japanese city on the 6th of August 1945. Pending the total elimination of all nuclear weapons, Guterres appealed to the international community to speak as one, as outlined in his new agenda for peace. Launched in July this year, the agenda calls on member states to urgently recommit to pursuing a world free of nuclear weapons and to reinforce the global norms against their use and proliferation. He stressed the UN's commitment to continuing working to strengthen global rules on disarmament and non-proliferation, notably the Treaty on Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons (NPT) and the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons (NPT). Talks are taking place at the UN in the Austrian capital until the 11th of August.